Good morning, many thanks for joining us. This is Sunday edition, Kenya's only Sunday morning political show where we dissect the big political stories in the Republic. I am Ben Kitili, live at the KTN News Center here in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. On the broadcast this morning, we talk about an array of issues. We talk about which way in Nairobi. We'll be discussing the politics of the capital city county of Nairobi, which way that is concerning the gubernatorial race, which has a lot of interest vested by both sides of the political divide. Peter Kenneth, the latest entrant to the gubernatorial race on the Jubilee coalition in that bid to unseat Governor Evans Kidero. We'll talk about a number of parliamentary seats as well, which are vital in this capital city county. We'll also talk about the voter listing intrigues that have been ongoing, of course, the last 1 week or so. Political leaders going around the country, canvassing and mobilizing their supporters to register as voters in the run-up to the August general election. We'll also talk about political defections as we go into the election. The latest high-profile defection, of course, being the former TNS Secretary General Onyango Olo, who defected from the Jubilee side to ODM. What does he bring to the ODM side, if anything? We'll talk about all that. My guests are already in the studio. But first, let's take a look at the news this hour. And we start in the county of Kitui, and the state of drought in Kitui County is expected to escalate following poor rains, which have led to total crop failure. Local residents and leaders are asking the government to supply them with relief food. Mwadha Maluki, a resident of Bondoni in Mwingi West constituency, said that crop failure has left most parents desperate, as most people in the area depend on farming for school fees. Parents there fear that some students may be forced to drop out of school. Former PS in the Ministry of Land, Dr. Gideon Mulyungi, has also urged the government to quicken the process of reintroducing school feeding programs to ensure that education is not affected by the drought.
Sahii mashamba imekauka, hata mimea inaenda na upepo, na kuna njaa mingi sana. Ndio hata hiyo mvua ingine ya mwezi ya 4 hatukupata kitu.
The last season of rain, we didn't get enough rains, and therefore there was total crop failure. And as we speak now, people are suffering because of food. We don't have food. People have started dying because of lack of food. And as you realize, schools have opened, and when there is no food, kids don't go to school.
The Kilifi women representative Aisha Juma is accusing the government of allegedly dishing out fake title deeds to coast residents in order to entice the locals to vote in the Jubilee administration in August. She says that it is only the courts that can declare title deeds genuine or fake. Juma accused Lands Secretary Jacob Kemanyi of politicizing the issuance of title deeds.
Sasa wamekuja kutuzuzua sisi, na hivi nawaambia, maana walikuwa kija post wanasema wanasuluhisha matatizo ya mashamba kwa kupeana title deed. Koti imefanya ruling ya kwamba hizo title deeds ni fake. Kwa hivyo sisi wa pwani tumehadaiwa kwa kila njia ndani ya serikali ya Jubilee. Na mimi nasema ni masikitiko makubwa sana.
The Kajiado gubernatorial race has intensified, with 5 Jubilee aspirants currently negotiating to find the best candidate to face the incumbent David Nkedianye. Here, there are fears that the high number of aspirants may not work well for the ruling Jubilee, but the aspirants have vowed to deliver the gubernatorial race or seat to Jubilee.
Tumemobilize vijana wote leo wachukue kura. Tuko na more than watu 3,000 leo. Tumewapeleka kwa vituo wachukue kura, na wengine tumewapeleka kwa DO wakapewa vitambulisho.
Tuweze kujitokeleza sisi kwa wingi, na tuweze haswa vijana na wakina mama, tuweze tukajisajili kama wapigaji kura, kwa sababu hiyo ndio njia moja ya kuamua kiongozi anayotaka, na kiongozi ambaye unajua kwa karibu na wewe, na kiongozi ambaye ni wa maendeleo.
cross borders now to West Africa, and former Gambia President Yahya Jammeh has left the country in the wake of elections that ousted him after 22 years in power. Regional group ECOWAS says the former president boarded a plane to Guinea and from there will travel to exile in the Equatorial Guinea. Jammeh was defeated in December's election by Adama Barrow, but went on to challenge the results. Mr. Barrow has been in Senegal, but says he will return to the Gambia soon. In an interview with the BBC, Mr. Barrow said he wanted to create a Truth and Reconciliation Committee to investigate allegations of human rights abuses during Jammeh's time in office. Marcel de Souza, president of the Economic Community of West Africa States, ECOWAS, said that the military operation that had sent West African troops into the Gambia in support of Barrow was now over, although some would remain to ensure security. At least 32 people were killed and dozens more injured on Saturday night when 9 coaches of a passenger train derailed in India's southern state of Andhra Pradesh in the latest disaster to hit the vast and accident-prone state railways. Officials said the express train from Jagadhpur to Bhubaneswar derailed near Kuneri station, around 30 kilometers outside the town of Raigash. An official said the relief and rescue operations were in full swing to save as many lives as possible. Rescuers pulled many injured passengers from the derailed coaches and looked for survivors, sawing through the mangled coaches.
We can see that the track is broken at 2 places. The 2 tongue rails next to the main stock rail or the main rail on which the wheel is, those 2, we can see cuts on them. Now, this is being looked into by an expert team.